the things we know solidify a certain reality. A miracle is an instance outside of what we think we know, which proves the nature of the knowing, and that truth is fluid and malleable depending on what the awareness needs to witness, what we need to learn. We keep insisting on certain things. We keep insisting on injustice in this life. We keep insisting that the past define the future, or that reality as it is, as it appears, rearrange itself entirely to a better formation more suited to our comfort and perspective. You've only got to look at the astrology of the age to understand what's actually going on and depressurize yourself and sort of overemphasizing your part or assuming obligations that don't really belong to you. The responsibility we have in this life is to know ourselves and to draw forth everything within us that is either detrimental or beneficial, and to embody what resonates and discard the rest. So, just for an example, you could never witness miraculous healing if you are fixated on the symptom, the diagnosis, the physical manifestation. You can only experience healing, miraculous events, if you are open to that, if you are connected to yourself and willing to allow your perspective to shift. If you can't be faced with conflicting information and filter through, if you just deny or reject any information which is outside the sphere of your current knowledge, well, you might not fully be equipped to learn. I have observed myself to do a 180-degree turn in perspective at the drop of a hat. It's so healthy to be able to do that. Evil is more passive than anything. It just wants us to obsess over darkness, or the darkness of others, the darkness of the world. In the age of enlightenment, let's just take what we think we know about the human body, right? And I will relay a personal experience from many years ago. I had been visiting with a friend in Derby, and I had a big rucksack on when I left, went to the train station, went back to Birmingham. I believe it was likely the hottest day of the year. It was very hot. It was August, if I remember correctly. And I arrived back at New Street train station. I left and I headed towards the bus stops in Birmingham city centre. Now, something made me go a different way, a longer way to get to the bus stops. And as I walked, I encountered a lady of Middle Eastern descent, sat on the floor. I remember her face was dirty. She sat there eating an apple, and I walked past her and then stopped a few steps ahead and reversed, walked towards her. I put my hand in my pocket and I had just about enough cash to get the bus home. But I picked that money up and I put it in her hand and I said, God bless you. May you have a meal and then proceeded to walk to the bus stops, which was now a redundant journey because I was tasked with getting home, which was 9 miles away at the time. So I started walking, and I figured one good turn deserves another, eh? And I suspected, were I to wait for a bus and get on and describe what had just happened, the driver might have some compassion and allow me to ride the bus for free. Well, as it turns out, no bus arrived, and it was very hot. I was thirsty. I didn't even have water. So I knew I had to carry on walking, and in my mind, 9 miles, 3 hours, that's okay. That's a good meditation. And so I began walking, and then the thirst was kind of unbearable. So I was just like, water, where is water? And I happened upon a full, unopened 500 milliliter bottle of Smart Water, and it was sparkling and warm. But I was so grateful for that, and it gave me a little boost, and I journeyed on. And as it happens, I wasn't wearing suitable walking shoes. I was wearing some Adidas high tops with, I believe, trainer socks or no socks. And after a while, these trainers began to rub my feet badly. And the pain, as it broke through the layers of skin, started becoming a raw wound. And I travelled on, and I did it in tribute to that lady whose name I never knew. It inspired me, it motivated me to know that it was not just suffering for the sake of it. And eventually I got home. I was kind of exhausted. I got straight into bed, and it took me about an hour to get to sleep because the pain from the blisters on my heels, it was quite terrible. And so eventually I drifted off to sleep. And the next morning I woke up, got out of bed. I realised there was no pain. Obviously, I had recalled the previous day, and I looked at my feet, and there was no evidence of any physical damage. No pain, no scar, no blister. And I accepted it. I gratefully received that miraculous healing. Not in exchange for my act of kindness. That is a given. That is a gift. But to recognize and acknowledge that I do deserve to be healed from things which I wouldn't have chosen for myself, but happened to be a part of my experience. So, as far as I am concerned, the fact that I'm even still sitting here today, is a miracle. Every single day I open my eyes, I get to look at this sky, is a miracle. But also, the knowledge that my understanding can be misinformed and distorted shows me I'm not supposed to know so much, and what we know actually kills us. It defines. It puts everything in a box. And ultimately, it prevents us from witnessing marvelous things, because seeing is not believing. Believing is seeing. You could not witness something, you could not see, observe anything unless you believe in its existence. That's why dragons and unicorns aren't so common anymore, because vibrationally humanity has descended below the vibration of belief in magical things. So they don't hide themselves from humans, but they are obscured. That's personally what I believe to be true. Is it possible to engage in an act which is entirely destructive and not be entirely destroyed by it? No, not really, because it is what I say it is. And ignorance is not necessarily bliss, but mind over matter is literally the mechanism that ascends us above the matrix. Matter, mother, material, all related. It's only that we were praying to the wrong mother, a dark parent, which was the unholy counterpart of the angry sky god, the vengeful, vicious spirit, the jealous god, and the dark mother, the sickly queen of the hive mind, which is a woeful replication of Mother Nature. It doesn't sustain us or nourish us at all. To know that nature, in her many forms, is the panacea, the cure-all. So she has an answer for everything, all of man's ignorance. I have healed myself with chocolate biscuits and cake. And I don't care whether you believe me or not. I don't mean exclusively creating a diet of processed sugar. I mean allowing myself to do whatever was deemed necessary in any moment in order to preserve a certain something about myself. Inner peace, the path of least resistance, surrender, release, detachment. Because I've done many things in this life which might have killed me, but it was only my detachment from said things that kept me alive. It's not necessarily what you do, more about how you react to it. So if you do anything and lace that action with the energy of guilt or shame or fear or self-doubt, criticism, well, that's what you are swallowing. I've smoked infinity cigarettes in this life, and I have killed 0 humans. I'm not saying correlation equals causation in that regard, but there's something in it. Or like, if I hadn't had a relationship with ganja in this life, then I probably would have ended the life of a human. And it probably wouldn't have been anybody outside of my own self, but it could have been. Because the rage that has been channeled through this vessel, or at times subdued, or sometimes overtaken, it's not a joke. It's big power, and with great power comes great responsibility. So we do what we have to do to temper ourselves and our emotional lives. Abracadabra, I create as I speak. What we know kills us. What we have faith in enlivens us. When we focus on evil, we are essentially worshipping the problem. And when I say evil, I mean ignorance. Anything short of self-awareness and self-knowledge, conscious, present moment awareness, anything outside of that is darkness, is ignorance, because it's not the truth of who we are. So, for example, I could set off on a crusade with a vendetta against the alcohol industry, right? Because I've got too many stories of humans that I have experienced, that have quite literally been destroyed by alcohol, or their fascination with it. Or I could manifest a solution-oriented approach. I could consciously create an intentional alcohol service using nature, stepping out of barcodes to recover the essence of alcohol, the community themed tool that it has been for celebration, and therefore providing a bridge for certain people to have a different understanding of alcohol and their self, and to just exist in a purer vibration while they work out the process. I could challenge the leaders of this earth, right? I could point the finger and say, well, this is what you say, this is what you do, this is what we need. Do you see the discrepancy? Or I could just lead myself, show others what it's like to embody sovereignty, and encourage others to be in the mode for collaboration in order to create a new earth, alternative to being governed, to bending the knee to crooked crowns and freaky flags. We could. The time of the intentional protest is over. We might be in the age of information, but we already know enough. The only real political demonstration is living as you so choose, with a complete disregard for any instruction or orders that don't come from the still center in the middle of your being. Like, no, Mr. Officer, I do not know what you are talking about. I live in a different reality that you are welcome to join, should you so choose. Or carry on putting on that uniform every day under the pressure of having to feed your family, and watch your integrity drip from your very being day by day, crushing your conscience, because it doesn't serve us. To serve the regime, clearly, and to witness a complete overhaul of the system as it stands requires immense faith. It requires stepping outside of the confirmation bias that we currently hold, which is just a tool to describe the temperature of the world as it stands. So then, see what they've done. Oh, it's ancient war, mate. No. The war is over. The war is over. And if anybody else is chanting a different mantra, I would invite them to look in the mirror and watch their own self say those words. Anti-prayer, worshipping conflict, rather than being peace. As I say, even the ability to be at peace in this world is a miracle, because it is not designed for that. Society, as it stands, doesn't care about our peace and contentment. It only cares about utilizing us as a cog in a machine that is greased by apathy and ignorance. So, I am prepared to believe that Babylon will sort itself out. It will self-destruct. The snake will eat its own tail eventually. And so all we have to do is cling on to unquestionable loyalty and faith in something bigger than us. More miracles, more expansion, more spacious perspective. Anything that is rigid shall be brought tumbling down to the ground. Because life, because truth, because love is fluid.